Hello, welcome to New Meta Podcast, episode 90. Another decade gone, and a big one upcoming, leading to the big hundo. Some serious thought is going to have to go into that. But 10 more episodes to go, 10 long weeks. Who knows where we'll be at the end of that. But I know two people that will be with me at the end of that. Marco and Adam, as always. Marco, welcome to the pod. How have you been this week?
Big 90, yeah, it's exciting.
Very
excited to be here, discuss some good Dota 2.
Yeah, as always. Been playing much this week? We've got some good games in? I mean, we'll get to the how have games been, but just in the generality.
Well, in the generality, yeah, it's been quite a lively week. Don't know how deep you want me to go, but I got a couple points to make.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll come back to that, I'm sure.
We'll come back, yeah.
Adam, likewise, how have you been? Any personal highlights this week in Adam's world?
Are you talking about Dota?
Oh.
Or life in general?
Let's go life.
No, I have nothing. Quarantine. I have nothing.
Yeah. You can go to restaurants though, right? I'm sure, aren't you like living the dream?
Wow, really?
I mean, I guess they're somewhat open, but I don't go to them.
Yeah.
Can I interject on the life and then pivot it back to Dota?
You can do whatever you want.
So I took the bold step, like 2-3 months overdue, of having a trim, aka chop, of the herder.
Yeah.
Absolute chopper whopper yesterday. I got Abby to buy some scissors and just hack away. Did a very good job, honestly.
Nice.
And then, so that's a big change in my life, given quarantine. But then that made me think, pivot to the Dota.
Did you go skinhead, like day release skinhead?
No, honestly, fashion. It's like pretty nice. Just my back in size needed a big fat chop. That happened, and then left it like decent on top. Nothing extreme. Like I've gone for style over memes or anything. So it's
style over memes.
Yeah,
style over memes. That's what I tell my barber. He's like, "What do you want? Style, memes, or skin?" And I go, "Skin."
Skin. Yeah, so not
maybe a bit of memes. Memes on the side, skin on top.
Yeah. No, I don't have the balls for that. But the pivot into Dota relevancy, as I thought, who has the best hairstyle in Dota 2?
Wow, that yeah, let's do that.
I can throw one out for a starter. Okay. Mars. I think he is rocking.
Oh, so we're talking about pros.
Oh no, that's
heroes.
Boring.
Our listeners don't know pros.
Yeah,
I don't know pros. Also, isn't Zide just like auto win anyway?
Yeah, true.
Heroes though, I don't know.
So my hero was first one that came to mind. Mars. He's got like an heroic mane on top of his head.
I think Lena's got nice hair. Bob's quite nicely.
Oh, the Lena Arcana. That's a haircut gone wrong.
Yeah, that's a meme haircut. I also like Syllabear, Lone Druid. He's got a beard that's plaited. That's quite cool.
That is quite cool. Loads of people have hoods, like Warlock. Get your hood off. Cottle, get your hood off. What are you doing? Who else?
I'd say Lycan worst haircut, maybe. He's like bald. I don't know. He's got like a weird mohawk and then a weird mohawk goatee facial hair thing going on.
Wolves need no hair. On the head hair. I don't know. What about Coddle? He's got a good beard.
Yeah, it's pretty pog beard, that. I think we hit the best ones.
Yeah, I think Ench maybe, like the massive plaits. They're like thick.
Oh yeah, you always see good cosplay of that.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, but it seems like she wouldn't have watched it in forever because she's a forest person, so it probably smelled pretty bad.
Nah, it's like Snow White. They wash it for her. All of the birds come and wash it and plait it and all that, Snow White style.
Good defense.
Yeah. Dealt with.
Yeah, that's it from me.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you asked that because I was literally going to ask. What you asked was better than this question, but I was going to say which Dota 2 hero would you want as your barber and which you wouldn't. But that's kind of a dead question. I think the hairstyle is better. So,
how about you, Stan? Any other personnel or Dota things to drop in before games?
Not really. I mean, the weather's been really nice. I've been walking around a bit more. I went to the beach.
Oof.
That was pretty nice. I had an ice cream at the beach. I'm like, I'm almost in a news report, you know. On the BBC News and stuff, they always show beaches, you know, around the country.
I think I saw a Brighton beach as well in some news report.
It's always in news reports, and they're always just interviewing some punter, like saying like, "Oh well, we're socially distancing," and then it pans out to like 500 people on a promenade or something. So I don't know, but I think it's all right. I mean, I played basketball at basketball courts just by myself, just like shooting myself, which is allowed. But some people there's a group of like 20 people just like playing. So I mean, I don't know what's going on, but stay safe. Only take care of yourself, I suppose.
Mm.
Yeah. But what are you going to do? In terms of Dota, though, how have games been? Marco, I guess I'll let you start, because you were about to elaborate when I gave you the weird question about talking about Dota games in the generality, which is quite hard to deal with.
Yeah. The 2 points I was going to make, first was the ranked gaming was Bane 101, so I played 4 ranked, first Jakiro. The Jakiro game was sad. You know, when you finish the game with the highest hero damage as the 5, it feels bad. Oh yeah, I remember that game, and it kind of feeds into my potential flame corner kind of stuff. Basically, some Pango 3 offlaner, in my eyes, not playing very well. We had a nice bit of chit-chat after the game about friendly stuff. And then after that, 3 games on the bounce, Bane. So we spoke about how Bane's got crazy win rate. We always saw it was weirdly high, 55% or something. Oh my god, played it 3 games on the trot, and it was just felt so good every win, about 27 minutes. Just felt like a god playing it. You crush the lane, and then you go and get an ult on someone, like the enemy mid, and then because the game pace is kind of relatively slow, like we've always spoken about, feels like it's so critical when you get these ganks off with your ult, or you go for these ganks on 2 heroes, you sleep one, ult the other, kill the other, and then that's all you need to just start the snowball, and man, that was really successful. The second point I wanted to make was this classic 101 taco game of a party unranked, playing Queen of Pain. So it was me, Dynamic, and Loop, and then another party of 2. And so there was a bit of frostiness between me and our carry Void. I wasn't flaming him. I was just saying, I think where he should be playing and things like this. And there was this one, he kept winding me up by like kind of disagreeing or doing what I thought was dumb stuff. So when I got Aegis after some fight, I was like, okay, let's go. We can go. I think they have a dead hero or something. Let's just go. So it ends up with me diving tier 4s, and the team doesn't follow me. And in my head, I was like, if this was a party game, if it was a party game, I know the fact Stan is flying in with me without no second thought. And if he's the Void, they only have 4 heroes alive. I know this. I have Yule's Orchid. I'm flying in with an Aegis. Just flying in with me, Void. Just fly to tier 4s. It doesn't matter. You use Chrono and we just kill them all. Like, you know the play that I want to make. But obviously, like, there's a bit of disconnect and no one does it with me, and then I get flamed for like tilting and stuff, and then I'm like, no, this is a good, correct play. Like, Stan would do this with me if I had my own party. Just classic, and that we did eventually win. But also, my final point of that game was what made me realize about. I feel like players don't take advantage of stuff. That's like a pod topic in itself, but basically I was like, there were moments in the game, this is going into like its own pod topic, but there were moments in the game where we have an advantage that we can realize, but the allies don't want to do that. Like, we killed the enemy mid laner, but then the Shaker and Io start walking top, when I'm like, guys, we see a hero bottom, or creeping near the bottom tier 2, we could go and like choke this area, take another fight, win another fight, take in the tower, squeeze the map, but you guys are running 180 degrees the wrong direction, back into our own woods, back to our like creeps a million miles away. Why don't you want to do stuff and fight and win the game? It was interesting. I feel like I see it a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit that one.
Yeah,
it's a good topic. Capitalizing on advantages and stuff like that is a good one. It's always like a nebulous one to grapple with, but it's definitely worth going over at some point.
Definitely differentiates better from worse players. And when I watched Secret, it was just an example of that as well. Secret was smashing, I think, NIP. They're like 10, 12k gold up, so they're smashing the game, crushing it. But what do they do? How do they completely crush it? They did a smoke. They took mid-racks. They smoked 4 of them and sat in the base of Nip, all smoked up. Like, unbelievably aggressive, like, cool play. They spot the Meepo, jump him, like, dive tier 4s to jump and kill him, and then they know they can just win the game because they, like, got this key kill. And the other 5th hero Secret was just showing elsewhere on the map, pushing the creep say. It was, like, watching that was serious, like, what do you call it, like, curb stomp Dota.
Yeah.
And that's realizing an edge. And you can do it at any pub, but yeah. It's an interesting point.
Yeah. Adam, any Dota to report? Is Dota as bleak as your life in quarantine seems to be every time I ask for an update?
What, you got reds on your Dota buff, Adam?
Big reds. Yeah. That's why I don't think there's any good games to report. It's just a lot of red. So yes, it has been bleak.
Yeah.
Usually have a good story or something.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we did win a game. We just won a 5-stack. That's a nice story to come into the pod with. The Adam Chen, unbeatable.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
I liked that game because it seemed insurmountable, and then through the power of friendship and smokes,
team
dust.
play, dust, yeah, and smoke,
yeah,
dust and
yeah.
centuries.
It's amazing we were playing against an enemy. It was a mid-bounty hunter, but it was basically Bounty was the only real dangerous hero other than Blink Cool. It was like Blink Cool and Bounty, pretty much, and like maybe Sniper Ags. Anyway, it's amazing that I can't remember a time where we missed a kill because we didn't have detection. That's remarkable for our 5-stab. That's just game-winning right there. So, yeah, that was a fun game.
The bounty hunter getting like 11-minute ags.
Yeah.
Very scary. And then
disgusting.
He just got all of our gold. What little gold I did have, I was buying sentries and dusts. Waste a lot of his time so you guys can clean up everything else. And then
definitely, yeah. I saw him go on you in one fight, and like you say, you pop like all these heals, and suddenly he's, when someone hits thinking it's going to kill, and then they turn their hero around, but it doesn't kill because you pop stick or you pop greaves or you pop whatever. Then they have to turn their hero all the way back around. It's like it's so grim when that happens because of the turn rates in Dota. It's kind of costly in a teamfight situation to be like turning your hero around and back and stuff.
Yeah, and he Janedas and throws a Q, and you think I'm almost dead, but then I heal back the full, and that you got to wait for your Janeda to come back up and your Shuriken toss, so it just like wastes so much time.
Marco, you gonna say something? Yeah.
I was just gonna give an anecdote of in the lane. I used my tricks of the trade. I'm killing Sniper, and if one more round of the tricks of the trade would kill him, but then I cancelled it for some reason, and then my hero was too far away, and I had to dive the tower to get the last hit and die. That was really annoying. Ninja Gear, wow, it's like the first or second time I've used this item. 20 agi, 30 movement speed. Late game, that movement speed is so strong. And then you just what you call smoke a deceit yourself. So moving from lane to lane is so mobile. And then obviously 20 agi on Ricky is just bonkers good. So that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's sick. Played 2 games today, one on Mag and one on Puck. And that was exemplified the difference between, but they're both heroes I don't play very much. One is really hard to use spells and click buttons, and the other's like pretty easy because you just press and power, and then occasionally you press RP like once every 2 minutes. But Puck, the game before, like, oh my goodness, I actually can't. In my head, I know what I want the hero to do, but I actually can't execute it. Like I try and Waning Rift and I Dream Coil. I try and jaunt to my illusion and I phase shift. I try and Dream Coil and I use W instead. It was a disaster. But I got the entire game. I had one good moment, which is where I solo killed the enemy sniper because I went the Deso, Ags, Dreamcoil Rapid Fire build. That was the only good thing that happened the entire game for me. Puck. I'm not a puck player, basically. That's what that one came down to. That was a pretty grim one. 50 minutes. Wow, that game went long.
But, I mean, blame Marco for that one.
Oh,
That's what we all did.
Yeah, blame Marco for sure. To clarify for the listeners, that's because he wasn't there. He was too busy, like, I don't know, doing something in real life, like connoisseur in different types of tea or whatever you do in your free time.
We played a 4-stack with a random one. And it's always the random one that leads your team astray. So if Marco was there, easy win.
Yeah. Topic of the day, though. A lot of weirdness happening in the world of Dota 2, or the meta of Dota 2 at the moment. It feels like there's quite a high amount of pro games at the moment, and because they're not big LANs, they're like online events, I feel like teams are experimenting a little bit more, which is creating a lot of this funky stuff. Maybe they're not experimenting, maybe it's just really legit and really good. In any case, though, we've seen a lot of fun stuff happening. Luna Carry, I called that I wanted a Luna Carry to be back in the meta when we did the patch review for 7.26e or something, can't remember the most recent one. And it looks like it's back. Building Helm Dom, doing cool stuff like this, going magic damage, or just going pure physical, I've seen too. Definitely want to talk a little bit about that, because I think it's quite interesting, because Luna's kind of a weird hero, simply because you don't see it very often. Then Weaver support, everyone and their dog is talking about Weaver support, so we will too. Sniper support, kind of old news by this point, but hopefully touch on that, a few other things. Hopefully get a flame corner in as well at the end.
Of course.
Yeah. The listeners now just demand flame corner. Our actual content is secondary. They just want the intro and flame corner, and let's skip the meat of the middle. I don't know. Let's maybe talk about Weaver support first. Adam, you're a tried and tested member of the weird funky fives group of Dota players. Enlighten me and Marco, what is it about Weaver 5 that is good, if you've seen it much? Or what's interesting about it, at least?
You can be aggressive. You're fast.
Yeah.
You can get all over the map.
You're
invisible.
You don't have a stun, though. You don't have a stun. Disable.
You have damage, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I watched Puppy play it, and I think he went Axe. He got to earn, because you can get earn really fast, really, really fast, because you can start with like Circlet and a Ring of Protection, and you're like halfway there off of your starting items, to where you can get them at like, sub 6 minutes, sub 8 minute, And then, Weaver Ags is so strong. It's like people going sniper Ags. People, I think, really have realized that, like, how strong some of these Ags are. And if you can just, like, be greedy and let your 5 get to it, you just have game-changing abilities.
Yeah.
I played against a Weaver support this week, and it was just like, we had a sniper support, and it was like this duel of greedy ag supports. And it's like, well, okay, you use sniper ult to stun and initiate on somebody. You blow all your cooldowns, and then he just gets time-lapsed. Whatever your target is, gets time-lapsed back to full health. It's like, no, we just like countered. I think part of it is the ags is so strong, but then, I don't know, Weaver's always annoying. And then the bugs are really good. Bugs also give you some Roche potential, too.
Yeah. You just
kind of meandered all over the place there.
No, I think it's a pretty good summation. You just are really... It's like you said, you're just really fast with Sakuchi, so you can turn up easily to fights, rotations and stuff. Bugs are obviously a good spell. Doesn't matter whether you're core or support, really, for that one. And you just provide damage all over the map really, really quickly, really easy to connect. So it is kind of just like this super aggressive support. But the later the game goes on, it's really, really awful, other than this Ags, which you can seem to pick up around 25, 30 minutes, something like that. And then you're going to have late game, an insane late game spell ability thing. You can go Spirit Vessel as well, which is just like objectively good item to have. It's sort of, I feel like, I don't know if you would agree with this, Marco, but with some of the items and the ags and stuff, obviously Weaver Ags has been around for a while, but with the additional gold on the map for supports particularly, and the addition of items like Spirit Vessel that are just good on any hero, I think you can get away with more funky, less traditional supports in the meta at the moment, because it's not as punishing to be, say, a Weaver that's gone past 30 minutes, because you're going to have a Vessel and an Ags, which is, like, makes you just good. It doesn't matter how much your hero falls off, and you get all the benefits of having a Weaver support for the first 20 minutes without the catastrophic downsides of having a Weaver support after 30 minutes.
Yeah. I think that's true about the longer games. You have to be able to get, or at least like know there's a good chance that you're going to get to that mega strong item timing, because like Adam says, an Ags on a Weaver has to be one of the most, I know we must say this often, like, oh, this power spike item so big, but honestly, Ags Weaver has to be one of the most game impacting item pickups you could have. Just completely nullify everything the enemy team throws at you. So to be able to get, or know you could get to that point, important. I've not seen it, honestly. I'm really interested in this Weaver chat because I've played quite a bit this week, but not seen it, maybe not watched enough new either. I feel like in skirmishes, it's not going to die, it's going to survive, pretty decent, like pretty annoying, bit of QG, bit of minus armor. I can kind of see it fight okay.
He's got a really good video on it.
Yeah, it's meta if he's doing vids on it. That would be interesting to watch.
You have really good rune control, both your like mid lane power runes and then like the 5-minute runes, 10-minute runes, because you can kind of just show up. You're so fast that you don't actually lose that much time. As a normal 5, walking to like the bottom rune spot.
Yeah, true.
To check for your mid, it's like, okay, that's 30 seconds of your safe laner being up, very sad, but it's just one Sakuchi, and then you can waddle back.
That's a really interesting point. That has to be one of the strongest facets then, the fact that it's a mobile hero. They can do all that bitchy movement stuff just way better than typically slow cores. Anyone but Kotl is typically pretty slow. Having to invest in Tranquil's Windlace is pretty spenny as well. So that's pretty interesting.
Also, it's good, Sakuchi, you can get free pickoffs with couriers and stuff, especially when you've got Geminate, and it's not as punishing when you're a support. Like when you're a core Weaver, say, safe lane core Weaver, you don't want a Sakuchi round 1 or 2 heroes to pick off a courier and then die. Whereas on a support Weaver, it's like you can just Sakuchi, pick off a courier, then just keep Sakuchiing away. Like if you pull heroes, you're winning anyway. In that Bowie video, I saw that Puppy was not quite suiciding, but borderline suiciding to get a courier kill, because it's like worth it, because he's a support. And that's just a nice little bonus thing you can do. Also, you just trade well. Like you get Sakuchi, then you get Geminate level 2, or like, and then probably like Bugs, or Sakuchi at 4 and then Bugs at Sakuchi at 3 again, then Bugs at 4 or something like that. You're not even bad in the lane. You actually trade nicely, because you can disjoint with your W anyway. So you get a Geminate attack off, maybe another, then disjoint one of theirs. So
and then time lapse later. Like that's what he was doing. He would like turn up to the lane that really didn't have anyone in it, and he would just like fight. So in this case, he was like a level 6 Weaver against level 10 Naga, and he just didn't care. And he just blew all of his cooldowns. He got low, he time-lapsed, and then Naga's like, oh, I can't really be here anymore. Like, I'm half health. Someone else can, like, TP and do something, so he just has to kind of leave and go in the jungle. And I don't know, it's just, like, harass, that level of harass and, like, just keeping someone a bit low to where they can't do everything they would want to do is pretty important.
I feel also the meta of heroes that we see, I feel like they're okay with Weaver in that they can offer control and disable, and you're not reliant on your 5 being some heavy lockdown hero these days. I feel like 4-3-2, even a 1 like a Void or an Ember Spirit, I feel like you're not going to lack the control that a Weaver doesn't have, so you can fit in with the heroes that are meta.
Yeah, I agree. You're seeing a lot more stunny kind of cores in all other lanes.
Yeah.
When you're seeing these, you're seeing a DK run POS 1 or 3 or mid, or you're seeing Void Spirit, Ember Spirit. You're not seeing as much, say, like AM, TB, even someone like Drow, that's just damage. You don't really see that much of them too much.
No.
Although, obviously, Drow Weaver is good, I guess, because of the combo. But, yeah, no, I agree with that.
But also with the 5, I feel like conventionally, if you think 5, you think someone who is meant to provide disable, and that is a form of control. You think of just like a bit of lockdown from your 5, but I feel like in more recent times with a bit more inventive drafting and just unfolding the game of Dota, that requirement on the 5 is less strong these days, and the 5 can provide something a bit more unique, maybe defensive, or maybe aura, business, or save, or in this case something funky.
Yeah, and also
like a crop 5, weird shit like this.
You mentioned Secret. Also, just the ability to engage in monkey business skirmishes, and you get that with Sakuchi, because he's so rapid that he just goes from kill to kill to kill. If you're rolling with a Weaver, then you're really rolling, because you've got a 5 that can just turn up anywhere all the time, and that's like so valuable to have. It's just, it's nice.
Underrated damage, too. It really adds up. I mean, by the time you get like the 3rd Sakuchi off in a fight, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, 175, 6-second cooldown.
Abusing so much turn rate stuff, making people, go all like turn around, look at you. It's like, do they really want to blow everything on you? The Weaver 5. I mean, if they kill you, that's great. They used all their cooldowns on a 5 position Weaver. That's so what I think. Chase. That's what I like about the Funky 5 is that everyone's got it ingrained in them as a core. So they're like, we got to kill him. We got to kill us. It's the Weaver. Blow everything. It's like, all right, I'm a 5. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And you're not even providing disable, so it's not even like, oh, I'll kill this lion before he gets his spells off. It's like, it's not even that. So, also, so much chase as well. I know when I've seen Puppy play it, just no hero's going to get away because the damage is that high enough in the earlier stages of the game where you will just get chased down as if it's like a core Weaver. So that element is very strong. Vision too, in those chase situations, obviously. Beyond what we've already talked about, I don't think there's a lot more to discuss, really. Item build is kind of, you are just looking towards Ags almost always. Would you say Urn's like guaranteed core and the Vessel is optional? Or do you always want to go Vessel before Ags? Or
you always have to go Vessel. I know in the game I saw he didn't. He just stopped at the Urn.
Right.
It lets you get a faster Ags timing because it's an extra 2,000 gold thereabout. So that can get you halfway to the Ags.
Yeah.
Now, if you're against like a DK Alk or something, I think you do just finish up the Vessel because it's how strong it is.
No, I agree. If it's a good Vessel game, go Vessel first. If it's not a good Vessel game, Ags is
there
fine.
are other games where it's just super sick that you have this Ags that you just need to protect somebody, and that's the case. You just protect them.
Do you go boots? Do you go, like, what's the boot situation here? Because I'm looking through guides.
Tranquil boots?
You reckon? I feel like you go treads or you... Interesting.
In 2 of these Puppy games, he got Tranks before his Urn.
Okay. Well, Master Puppy. In some of
these,
that
does let you go. That does let you be pretty aggressive because then you just kind of tranquil regen back really fast because you really don't have that high of a health pool, and then you can just go back in, stay on the map more. But then you're bringing out a lot of clarities.
Yeah,
because your pool isn't too big. Mana pool.
The Tranks is really interesting, and just the playstyle of this Weaver that you've been discussing. No other support could utilize the resource of health points like a Weaver can, because if you're a support and you're in the fray and you're taking damage, typically, in the best case scenario, you take 90% damage but live, don't die, soak some spells, attention, but ultimately live and get more rally of spells off. Someone like a Weaver, they're going in, taking tanks, time lapse, or they're going in, leaving, then the tranks, you're going to be alive and ready to go again, and you can fly in and you can take distraction, you can take hits, etc., and you can play on the edge constantly, go out, now you got tranks up again, and you're using that health point resource like as a offensive tool almost, because you can just go in and out so well with Sakuchi, and then the tranks means you just regen up and go again. That's pretty cool. Cool idea. No other support could do that trade.
Yeah. I think we pretty much covered it with Weaver support. Do you have anything else to like add? Any other interesting things about? Do you think it's good in a pub setting? I mean, the hero's not got a very good win rate overall. Would you say it's worth
I wanted to
trying?
try it today, but then I kept randoming. I wanted to try it really bad, actually.
Yeah, the hesitation. Secret, they do these really cool, funky stuff, but it's like the Zeus 4-man. Secret are kind of operating on a different level. So,
I mean, the team's got to be coordinated. I don't think you can draft them if the rest of your team has no stuns.
Yeah, that's just the biggest thing.
I also think don't draft him in pubs because the pubs are too slow versus pro games. And I feel like Weaver excels in quick games where he can go from one lane to the next with Sakuchi and really take advantage of that crazy movement speed with Sakuchi. And I think in pubs it's better to just take a bit more of like a slower support that has a stun.
But then you could flip it and say it's actually quite a good 5 because with Sakuchi and just being this agi hero, your farm potential is probably better than the average 5. So if you take a slow game, like I'm looking at this one, for example, it goes 38 minutes. Puppy has 120 CS, more than Yapsor's Earthshaker. He's got an Ags at 27. You could be kind of greedy with the 5, and if it is slow, you have kind of got tools to farm up with. So maybe it could work.
Yeah, I think you could do if your team allowed, a greedier 5, which it may well do in pubs for sure.
If you're in a party, I think it could be legit to try. Solo pubs could be a bit risky because you might tilt your team. Maybe the pubs know it's legit. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, watch this space with Weaver. I think it is being played outside of pros, so maybe we'll get a better idea of it soon as it shows up more and more in pubs. Let's do drums, and then come back. Next hero in line, Luna carry. I feel like it's been a million years since this hero has been in the meta. I'm certainly happy to see it back. Not only is it in the meta, but it's crushing. So this week, 55% win rate or 54.5% win rate in Divine Plus. That's ridiculously high. It's always been a hero that's better at pubs than pros, which is kind of interesting. Why do you think that is, just off the bat? Is that just because of farming speed?
No one punishes you in the jungle.
Yeah.
She does farm fast if she gets a good game. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've just seen Luna's pick rate this week in Divine Plus is 6.66%.
Yikes.
Wow. That is a monk ass.
That's a sign.
Yeah, that's some scary stuff. Someone please pick this hero so that doesn't happen. Yeah, man, Luna is back. How much of Luna's resurgence is Helmdom? Is it all of it? Is the hero bad without Helmdom? And I just think it's interesting that suddenly Helm is being built. It's like old times when Helm was being built on all the carries.
I'm pulling up the item.
It's pretty strong. Attack speed.
Yeah, very, very. I mean, because it's been changed so much, but now it gives everything she wants.
7 attributes. Increases base damage by 20%, health regen by 4.5, and you get a creep. Am I missing anything there?
No.
No, that's it. Okay.
Then you get the creep ability.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you do get the creep ability, not to be overlooked. So 20% base damage Is that the big deal here, pretty much? Just like a farm speed item?
It also, she already is buffing from her new aura, right? They changed her, they swapped her aura Avenge with Luna, and now she gives 30% bonus damage at max.
Yeah.
So that stacks with the helm. So it's like 50% bonus
Pretty
damage.
strong. Yeah.
And then, yeah, because that's what it always was before. Luna's like, if you can get everybody into a ball, the death ball, it's crazy. She just like feeds everybody so much aura around her. So I think that she needed like a first item, right? It feels bad to go straight out like get a Yasha.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going to get a. I mean, I guess Mask of Madness was kind of what you would do.
Yeah, I loved that. That was my source. The Mask of Madness.
Like, that doesn't really. I mean, I guess that's okay. It kind of leads into the Ags, but I think Helm goes better into Ags now.
Yeah, I think the Mask of Madness, it's still viable if it's a really good game and you get it quick and you can just mince through the jungle. But it's one of those where it's like, if you get this item, say 12 minutes, say 12 minute like Trev Mask, if it's a game where you're going to be contested at all, then it's kind of just really bad because you spent 1,800 gold on an item that literally makes you weaker fight-wise.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going Battle Fury on a PA versus going, Deso. You're just weak if you get run at when you've just got a Battle Fury on your PA, and you can lose games because of that. Whereas I think Helm Dom's nice because of all the aura stuff you talked about. You farm nicely with this bonus damage. HP regen, sure, is nice for farming a bit, although your creeps can be tanking a lot of stuff, you go through the jungle. And also you just buff up your team, like you obviously want to be farming, but you can contribute a bit more. You can't just it's not quite as easy to just literally run at you. Especially if you've got, say, like a centaur creep, if you want to be funky, or I suppose most of the time you're going to be getting more of a farm-oriented creep.
It's such an insane build-up, too, compared to the Mask of Madness. Like, you have to get a Morbid Mask and a...
Quarterstaff or whatever.
Quarterstaff, like 2 900-ish gold items. Whereas Helm... you buy a headdress, which is like great in lane. I've seen people start with the crown.
Interesting.
That's a way of doing it instead of, getting your little bits and pieces of the Wraith Band. That's what people normally would do. But yeah, if you can get an early headdress or a crown, you're just like, rather have those 2 items than a Morbid Mask for about the same amount of gold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting comparison because Yasha is a bit cheaper than Helm Dom. They're kind of similar. I mean, Marco, would you pretty much agree with what we've outlined? If you were considering Yasha or Helm Dom just is better and is safer? I don't know, like, why? What's the advantage when you compare it to a Yasha? You would think that Yasha is just everything you want, agi attack speed.
Yeah, I think the point about being safer must be why there's this preference for the Helm Dom, because farm-wise, I think you're going to do better with a Yasha. And I think Mask of Madness, similar price, I think you're going to farm better with a Mask of Madness as well. I think the build-up's not too bad. So the Helm Dom really, it has to be that people are wanting that aura element and the creep element. I don't know how much value pubs are getting out of the creep. Maybe, like you say, the Divine Plus win rate's pretty strong. A Helm Dom with a creep in skirmishes can do bits, but just creep aside, the aura. Yeah, I mean, these skirmishes, you're beefy, you've got good stats from, relatively okay stats from the Helm Dominator, so it is a bit more defensive, but it does kind of help you farm because it is stats and you could dominate a useful creep. So I think, safer bet, and so better build up. Yeah.
I think it fits well with your next item being Ags, because that makes you into a team fighter and you want to group up, and the Helm kind of helps you group up.
Is that always the case? Do you think that's the optimal build? Second item Ags?
That's what I have seen.
I've seen a lot of non-Ags, to be honest. I've seen mostly non-Ags from what I've seen. I mean, we would have just watched different games, obviously. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of normal Luna after.
Normal Luna, that's...
Yeah,
Mantas.
Manta Butterfly.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I think the strongest thing about the hero is the Ag's ult.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. On the guides on Dota Buff, it's a little bit of a mix. It's mostly right click, but there is Helm Dom Treads Ags on the first page as well from Old Chicken, and then there's 33 and some other pros that do different builds. Helm Dom Manta BKB Butter, Helm Dom SMY Butter, kind of interesting. Even Manta Helm Dom Manta AC Butter Scardy Satanic in the really long game here. 1 hour game there. And then there is, like I said, there's Ags as well in there with Kaya, Yasha, Octarine. That's kind of really heavy into the Ags route. And if you're going Octarine, Kaya, Yasha.
I like split damage, not spell damage.
I think it's a good item, but I feel like I'd want to play Luna or see Luna played with more right click in mind, and then leave the Ags for, say, a potential third or fourth item if it was a good game for it. I'm sure, I mean, it's hard to pick an example out of mine, but I feel like there will be some games where you can get a bit of synergy, say, with some certain hero. Maybe it's a Cottle or someone with a big AoE control enabling your big ult, or maybe you really need magic damage for some reason, like enemy TB. I don't know. Some cases, I feel like a third or fourth Ags could be cool. But I think generally, I'd want the Luna to transition into a conventional carry, someone to go late. You're going to go games 30 plus minutes these days. So I feel like if you've got a one Luna, you want them to be a right-click menace at 30 minutes in the game, someone who can push towers, someone who can stand and fight with Manta BKB. I think the Helm Dom is really just to compensate for early aggression, early rotations. Because like you say, Yasha or Mask of Mantis, it's like Battle Fury, how it's a greedy farm item. And when you get punished, I feel like it'll be hard to come back. But if you go Helm of Dom, safe, secure, you know you're going to be able to fight and should be able to take decent engagements and all that. And then you'll be able to get to the mid-game and you'll be able to farm well. It's a good farmer. So that consistent carry path is what I'd be down for.
Yeah. In the game that I watched in full, it was quite a good game. It was Sumail playing it, and he went Helm Dom Treads, BKB, Butter, Pike, Satanic. Interestingly, just on the skill build, he didn't take his 10 talent until 13, and he took 350 cast range, which I think is an insane talent. It's just like a bonkers one for the Lucent Beam. And then at 15, he took minus 3.5 second Lucent Beam cooldown. And at 20, he took all stats at 20. That's kind of surprising. I was ready to say he took the Lucent Beam damage, but he didn't. So I think even when you go this right-click damage build, clearly you can still... You don't have to hard commit one way, or else he'd go attack speed and then he'd go movement speed, really. So it's, even if you don't go Ags, you still kind of have mixed damage because you have a ridiculously long cast range, Lucent Beam on like a stupidly low cooldown. So you can kind of just, I know when I was watching this game, the cast range is ridiculous. So suddenly you're a Luna, right-click Luna, meant to be immobile, meant to be kind of just like you want to just stand and hit with like Manta BKB and press your Eclipse. But Sumail was like running around chasing down heroes because obviously the movement speed's crazy, and the Lucent Beam on a ridiculously low cooldown, you just run after them, beam. You don't even have to right click them to do work. Like you still do work without right clicking, and then when a big fight does happen, you've got like Butterfly Manta, Helm Dom, and you're just crushing.
God, that takes it down to a 2.5 second cooldown, right? So it's
that's crazy.
I really like that talent choice, and I also think the delay in it is powerful as well. I think talents, when you get it at 10, because it's big and flashy, you have this subconscious pull to picking a talent, but often that's not always the best case. And looking at the numbers of Luna's abilities, I really like this getting it at 13, because the value points of first your what's it called, Moonglaves, you want to get 4 points. You go from 1 to 2 to 3, then to 6. What the fuck? 6. Yeah, you need to get to 4. That is crazy damage farm potential. And then even Luna Blessing, so it goes up 5% notches of the damage bonus. So 15 to 20 to 25, they are seriously significant jumps. And then I think you can happily leave it at 3 and then get the talent at level 13, and you've got your Q maxed out. And then also on the talent choice, I think it's super smart. If at level 13, maybe that's 15, 16 minutes in the game. The 15 attack speed is kind of underwhelming. If you 15 attack speed, it doesn't feel amazing, but 350 cast range, that means in a fight you can always reach someone with your Q, and not just the damage, but the mini stun, the interruption, the value you could get in that versus 15 attack speed. I mean, like, Aether Lens is 100 cast range plus, and this talent is giving you 3.5 times that. That's bongs, man.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
You get the cooldown reduction, and now it's 2.5 second little mini stun on anyone in a fight. That's serious, like, mini value. So I think it's a really, really smart skill choice.
Yeah,
I played a Luna this week, and I mean, I guess I didn't talk about it because I lost. But
that was such a sad game. I remember that one.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, you were in that one. But I got the Timeless Relic, and I was level 25, and so you get the mini stun talent or the extra stun talent on the Lucent Beams, and I had Ags, and I actually stun locked an anti-mage in place.
Wow.
Like a level crazy. 30 anti-mage. He's just like stuck. I think he even had a satanic. And he just stuck there. And he died. And it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Just to clarify what Marco was talking about. So if you want to have your maxed out Lucent Beam, your maxed out Glaives, 3 points in Lunar Blessing and 2 points in the ult, if you want all of that before you take your 10 talent, then you need to take it at 14 rather than 13. So Sumail just has 2 in the Blessing when he takes the cast range at 13. Honestly, I almost feel like you just take it at 14 with the 3rd point in Blessing. I mean, obviously it's optional in the game. It depends, yeah.
If you skill it in a fight or something, like, it is so obnoxious as a chase ability. The Lucent Beam, you're just sniping TPs all the time, and then especially when you get the 15 talent, it's like you take 2 steps, stun them, 2 steps, stun them, and they just can't go anywhere if they don't have movement abilities. Like, you catch up so fast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage.
300 damage on a 2.5 second cooldown. Like, what? That's kind of ridiculous, right?
Agi carry, by the way.
Yeah, like, what is going on? And Eclipse, even without the ult, is really strong. Just another interesting point in this Sumail game, he actually takes the lifesteal talent at 25, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if he was just like memeing at that point, but I guess if he's gone right click and hasn't gone ag, so it makes a bit more sense. But it's kind of an interesting talent choice. I'd always would think to get the Lucent Beam mini stun, but 30 lifesteal is. I think it depends on the game, because if you go, it's one of those. It's like when he had Paladin Sword and Satanic and Ags on Gyro. It's the same thing with the Luna. It's like if you throw 30 lifesteal and then you have a Vlad's on your team, and it's not outside of the realm of a Satanic on a Luna, it's pretty common. It's just like, how do you kill that with all the glaives? There's just so much lifesteal, especially if you don't go Ags. The mini stun's not as good. I just love the Ag so much because you just throw it on an area. This is what feels like the early casts of clips. You have to put yourself in danger to be like walking up next to somebody. But 30 lifesteal, that's a lot. I think Arc Warden gets that at 25 as well. But those might be the 2 highest lifesteal talents.
Yeah, I like that 30% lifesteal. I think the mini stun is a bit too all in for my liking. Obviously, it could be Omega if you hit some massive Eclipse, but I feel like you're going to get good value of the lifesteal, standing right click, bit of a safe choice.
Yeah, like a Satanic Butterfly Luna with 30% lifesteal is just like I guess you just have to. What, you get a Divine Rapier and 2-shotter? That's what Dota is nowadays. Anyone builds any evasion, you just have to get a Rapier.
The true sight of Rapier.
Yeah.
What is it? True Strike, sorry.
True Strike, yeah. I mean, it's also, better than MKB in every way.
Also, how does Illusionist Cape just drop in this game with the Luna? I swear it's just like RNGesus, Gaben's clap. Just guaranteed Illusionist Cape. Yeah. Oh, it's so annoying. That's
like my flame corner. I mean, I've never... since I don't usually play core. I've never got to use it myself. It seems insane. And then when that first game we played, we got Illusionist Cape drop, and who were our cores? Brewmaster, Puck, and Leshrac.
Yeah.
Of course we get an Illusionist Cape in that game. It's like absolutely useless. It just feels so bad.
Yeah, it's like guaranteed. Grim stuff. Anything else to say on Luna? I mean, it's kind of... I would recommend going for it in pubs, honestly, with the win rates. And I think
Luna
it's...
Venge. Just Luna Venge and just win, honestly.
Yeah, that's just a free win. We've talked sometimes... Do you remember our Baking a Cake episode?
Yeah.
That was like... We just talked about free wins. This is one of them, I feel like. Luna Venge and just like ball up and win. Maybe like Necro mid.
Yeah.
Necro mid with Luna Venge. Oh.
And then Nature's Prophet off.
Yeah, just go.
Pugna 4.
Yeah, you can't lose.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, those are probably the two strongest auras in the game, right? Vengeance Aura and Lunar Blessing.
So Vengeance Aura gives you attributes.
Yeah, it gives attributes and a bonus attack range.
Interesting, yeah, it might be the best innate aura. I'm trying to think of other ones, but it seems strong.
And then you get the Vlads on the Venge. And then it's like damage. What's it? It's like you're giving 75% damage aura or something.
Hmm.
And then everyone's getting a Dragon Lance.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like Luna. I think the ease of execution is there as well, honestly, in a pub setting. You've got a Lucent Beam stun. That's just pretty nice. Eclipse is quite a high impact spell. And you farm really fast and then you push like a monster. I mean, how often in pubs do teams throw? And if you throw or make a mistake against a Luna team, your base is gone, you know, because of the glaives. So it's quite good at just really punishing teams that like mess up and then get wiped, which will happen in pubs a lot. So I like the hero.
Yeah, the ult tempo really fits nicely in pubs, I feel. Like you say, the game plan, you hit creeps, your ult's up. Ideally, you use it in the next 30 seconds, 45 seconds with a +1. Then you hit creeps. Rinse, repeat, get your items, and then go.
I mean, just the way it always is, if you lose a fight right outside your base against a Luna or at your tier 2, you will lose 2 lanes, if not all 3. Just the way the glaives are. It's so punishing.
Just to talk about the skill build then, are we dead set on this max beam, max glaives, then max blessing? And the value points in the Lunar Blessing, but not necessarily the glaives? Do you just ignore glaives and then take it like 7, 8, 9, 10? Or do you get a value point at like 4 or something?
I wonder what Adam says, but I don't think max in beam. I think you could leave 2 in beam and then get your 3 glaives and your 2 blessing or something if you're to get in the woods. I don't know.
I think if you're skilling your ult at 6, you want to have your max beam.
Yeah.
If I would play it, I would probably do 4, 0, 2, 1, and then go glaives. I don't know. I don't like to get the glaives super like at level 4 because you push.
Pointless. Yeah, and you push. True.
But I don't know if the game goes bad, it is. I mean, it depends on when it goes bad. But
just to look at the 2 pro games I've got here. One's Mickey for Liquid. And he goes QEQQW ult. So he has 3 points when he gets the ult at 6. So he's 3, 1, 1, 1. Sumail, on the other hand, he gets E level 1 and then QQEQ. So he's 3, 0, 2, then gets the ult. Then he gets the last point in beam, then goes 8, 9, 10, 11, all in glaives. Mickey gets, like I said, he already had a point in glaives at 5. Gets his ult at 6, then maxes the beam with level 7, then glaives. So I think the only thing that's for definite is that 7, 8, 9, and 10, 3 of those spots are going to be glazed. Or rather, 8, 9, 10, 11, at least 3 of those spots are going to be glazed, if not 4. So you're always just, that's the time you're going into the jungle, right? Post laning stage, post level 6, you're just going glaives.
Yeah, it makes sense.
An interesting one there.
Because how many beams is level 1 ult. It's like 6 maybe?
6.
Yeah. And then if you're level 5 when you do it, it's like 1500 damage or so. 1800 if you're level 7.
It's so grim when you lose vision. That's like the worst feeling during eclipse.
Yes.
My goodness, why does it give me vision?
That's why I like the axe, because it gives vision. It just sits there.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, that's very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Have you ever eclipsed without skilling Lucent Beam?
No, I've never done that.
Turns at nighttime. Very cool.
Top tier ultimate ability.
And then you get the bonus night vision. That's why you do it.
Yeah.
Or the synergy with Balinar. That's nighttime for him.
Let's move to another hero. Maybe I think the sniper support's kind of old news. Do we think this is better than Weaver support? Because it's kind of a similar role, right? Kind of. Damage, shrapnel, which is you could maybe compare to Swarm, and then you build Ags, and then you provide Ags. It's kind of a weird one, I feel like.
It's kind of the opposite in that you're really bad early. Like, Weaver's really good early. Sniper, outside of shrapnel, before level 6, is like nothing. But once you get Ags, it's so insane.
And you farm so fast as well.
It's from the offensive standpoint, it's insane. Whereas Weaver's the defensive standpoint of the Ags. It's just, you get 3,000 cast range, initiate, 1.5 second stun. So good.
I'm honestly not impressed by Sniper Ags. I think it's always been in a 4, and I've seen it in several games now. I honestly don't feel that impressed. I feel like there was one game where I was running around, and I think it was you, Adam, able to provide this really long range, couple seconds stun, and it was great because we're stomping. But otherwise, even in close games, I feel like someone gets stunned for 2 seconds, but the fights were all so hectic in the mid game that it didn't really matter. And then you jump on him, and he's just useless. And
it even got nerfed. It's 1.5 second stun now.
Okay, yes, maybe that's quite significant. Cause that's a chunk. That's a 25% chunk, right? Wait, is that right?
I think it was 1.8 before, and now it's 1.5. I think what is slept on is the shrapnel in fights. It's very strong, especially if you go the shrapnel talents, the damage and the extra slow.
I feel like people are so mobile that fights are so messy that the sniper just kind of feels underwhelming. I'm not a fan.
I think some heroes it's super insane against, like Ember, as long as he doesn't slide it.
It's very good against Naga Siren as well. It's a good hero. The sniper's excellent. Sniper support's really good against Naga because you go shrapnel slow, and shrapnel's just really annoying. And
you're usually outside of the range of the song.
Yeah, and even if you aren't, like if they song and go on you, it's like, okay, great. It's not actually that bad, honestly.
You can disjoint, or they song TP out. You can actually punish it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too convinced with the sniper support. I think it's interesting. I do think that you farm really fast. When I'm thinking about it from a pub situation, you're more likely to reach the Ags than a Weaver, because Weaver, there's a lot of pressure on you to get ganks going and like get stuff done, whereas Sniper, you can kind of sit back a bit more. Having said that, though, it's very greedy. Like, it's more greedy than Weaver support. It's super, super greedy. So I would probably be annoyed if someone picked Sniper 4 in my pubs and then we get run over at 20 minutes. Having said that, he does have Shrapnel, which is pretty good spell to not get run over with. But I don't know. Where does he go after the Ags? Do you just build in? You just build
That's
into a
what
core?
I was going to say. Like, it's so nebulous after that. Like, what do you actually provide outside of those two skills that an item would help? I think you just go Force Staff. I don't know, something that
it's weird. Yeah,
would help the team. It's like you spend all this time, building towards this Ags, and it's like, now what?
Yeah, I know. It's
E-Blade?
I've done that before. I kind of do like that.
Yeah, it's quite expensive. I mean, the two pro games that I've got up here, one is Roger. after Ags he goes BKB Kaya. Like what? Kind of weird. I don't understand. Like what's the BKB? I don't know. Anyway, and then the other game is Yapsaw and he goes Ags and then Blink. And again, it's like wow. Now your Ags sniper has Blink. It's kind of nice, but I don't know. It's not like a big item timing, is it? After the Ags,
No. They
both get Ags at 20 minutes though. Yapsaw 21 minutes. Roger 20. So that is a strong timing for support. Very strong timing. Because you can just farm camps and stuff with shrapnel really easily. Really, really easily.
Yeah, it feels so good to like walk up and you can shove a creep wave from such a far, way away. You just throw the shrapnel and like walk to safety. I mean, maybe you don't get them all, but it's like you shove the wave really hard and you get some creeps.
Yeah, that's definitely underrated top 3 aspect of this funky sniper.
Keep the wave shoved in safely.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's move on quickly then, because I don't have a ton of time left, but I do want to have a quick discussion on this line we have here. We all identified Dragon Knight as being this top tier meta-crushing hero at the moment. And Marco, you were drawing a couple of comparisons. First of all, why do you think DK is so favoured? What was the advantage of DK, and maybe particularly in this meta? If you have an opinion on that, I don't know. Then also, anything else you wanted to say, like in relation to DK and stuff like that?
I feel like he started off as it's good because this hero does so much with, I think, so little. There's not as much gold going around, but if you give a DK a bracer and a blink, he's wreaking havoc big time, providing the initiation you want someone to provide. I feel like that's all he needs, and everyone just rushes blink, and everyone else hasn't really got gold, but here's this inherently tanky, fat DK. They don't have the gold to deal with him, so what do you do? Feels really strong, so I feel like he does a lot with little, but then he actually does more than just that, because he is just tanky, so he's going to be kind of solid in lanes, be that the safe mid or off lane, so he's very versatile in that sense. And yeah, just very basic game plan. Doesn't need much, but will provide a lot of value.
I love him from the 3.
Yeah.
So strong to have this blink tanky boy 2.5 second value point stun. That can be a blink melee stun or a range stun from his dragon form. You shove towers really well. And the later the game goes, the better you get. Like level 18, you get that Scotty slow splash on his auto attack just from a 3. That's really strong.
Yeah, another hero with a really pretty solid win rate. Oh, actually no, I stand corrected. Good win rate overall, but it diminishes the higher up you get. Divine Plus this week's only 47%, with a 10% pick rate, so it's still picked up quite a bit. Quite a low win rate though, it's kind of interesting. Maybe dwell on that at a later point, but yeah. I agree with what Marco said, and well, what both of you said, but to just back up what Marco said, it's you get treads and a bracer. You can go Shadow Blade as well, I think it's not that bad. Or Blink. And then the hero has so many options. You can run it as a 1, a 2, or a 3. You can go Halberd, you can go Blink, you can go BKB if you need it and it doesn't feel that bad. You can go like whatever you want, really. You can go into a super tanky like heart stuff. You can go into AC, obviously is a classic. You can go Ags if you really want. I don't know, where that would fit in. You can go casual Hyperstone. There's a lot of options. You can go Daedalus eventually, and be more of a crazy right clicker. And like Adam said, you just get XP, and suddenly you have these crazy spikes anyway. Dragon Tail's got to be one of the most insane value points in the game. Like, if you look at the scaling on the spell, 2.5, it goes up 0.25 at each skill level. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's a value point if ever I've seen one. And the cooldown only goes down by 1 second.
And then the 25 talent.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the 25 talent. It's a one point wonder, this Dragon Tail. Insane spell. And it's just a decent laner. There's always going to be a lane that it's going to free farm in, if you pick it. Obviously in a pub setting, with roll queue and stuff, often you won't get this opportunity, but if you're in a party stack or something, pick a DK, there'll be a lane with that it can free farm. There'll probably also may well be a lane it has to dodge, if you get hit with a Monkey King or a Razor or something, that's a possibility. But, if you can just get it in the right lane, it's going to free farm easily and probably crush. So, it seems good. Oh, I forgot to mention you can go Radiance as well if you really want to.
That's pretty luxurious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Radiance is good. I much prefer what you were saying, where you get the blink. I think it's better.
Yeah, I think ultimately he really thrives in this environment where everyone's that bit poorer. And like we've talked about, the XP being weighted more these days. If you've got 4 points of Dragon Tail and you've got a Bracer, you've got DK of about 3k HP and 10 HP regen per minute at like minute 10. The enemies just aren't strong enough to combat it. So you can make so much space. You can just do so much with your body. It's really simple.
And a range stun as well.
Range
the Dragon
stun,
form
yeah.
is so strong.
So the comparison I drew to the Mars is I feel like in the off lane these days, so given the gold state's pretty dried up, you want your 3 to do a lot with not too much. So, I mean, we could throw the Enigma conversation around, but I think generally your 3, they get good farm priority up to the mid game, and they do get good gold, and they are focused on farming, but then they hit a blink. You think about Axe, Centaur, Mars, DK. These are your like top tier offlaners. They get phase, they get a bracer, they get a blink, and they go. And that's all these guys need. And so that's why I said I feel like he's similar to a Mars, similar to an Axe. You just need that one blink item, and you're fat because you're strength. You're that bit tanky, everyone else is that bit weaker, a bit less gold. And you make initiations happen. You make stuff happen just by blinking in, throwing your body in, using spells. And to me, that when I'm watching these games and highlights, I feel like the 3 is just very often doing that in the mid game, that they are just classic offlaner initiation, body on the front line.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much more to say about DK, I suppose. How do you fit in Ags? That's my conundrum with the hero, because I always want to build it because it's so fun to be a black dragon. And it seems legit. I always think it's good. I think, is it like a 4th item though?
It's definitely not first 3.
Yeah, so do you think you can't go like Treads, Blink, Ags? That's too much. Not good enough build up and stuff.
No, I think you have to go Treads, Blink, and then BKB or Shadow Blade, and then BKB.
I think you think you can go Blink and Shadow Blade. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think Shadow Blade is lets you get good blinks.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
They're both. You don't have to go one or the other. You can definitely go both.
Yeah, I think you can go Halberd as well. I wouldn't mind seeing a Halberd, like Treads, Blink, Halberd. I think that's fine too. Depends how necessary BKB is in the game in general. I'm looking at a Mickey game here where he goes Treads, Blink, Halberd, AC, Daedalus. Oh no, I'm lying. He has a BKB in there. So he goes Tread, Blink, Halberd, BKB. So no, I stand corrected actually. I think, yeah, BKB probably quite necessary in most games. Yeah, he's got a lot of options, that's for sure.
Because he already has so much armor. The one thing you can't do is burst him. But you have to use everything. But you can burst them, and then BKB just covers that up.
Yeah, especially if they've got a vessel, it's nice to BKB that one off, because it kind of crushes you a bit. 10 talent, 2 mana regen or breathe fire reduction. I only bring this up because I always see it and I'm like, do you think you just go... I mean, what do you think?
Depends on if you have Soul Ring or not.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't understand this talent usage on Dota buff is telling me that the minus 24% breathe fire damage reduction has a 100% pick rate. I think that might be a bug. I think one person has chosen mana regen in the history of the talent choice.
Yeah.
So I think something might be wrong there.
Maybe it's that day of the week they update everything.
Yeah, perhaps.
I always like the sound of that 24% breathe fire damage reduction. Like enemy cores, so often they are likely going to be doing a lot of physical. This is a big chunk out of the damage output, but I feel like on the whole, I don't know, maybe it's a bit not impactful enough, and maybe it is impactful, but only impactful in the late game, and in the early game, physical damage isn't really as big a deal. And so in the early game, you want that mana regen, talent, get more value out of it.
Yeah. You mentioned, just thinking about the meta, you mentioned these offlaners that come with stuns and stuff. Because the game's slower, you'd almost think that you want heroes with... I suppose DK is a hero with a big ultimate. Would you describe DK as a hero with a big ultimate? Not quite Enigma category, but like that kind of hero where you kind of have to wait for the ult cooldown to take a fight.
Yeah, it's not as bad and not as big, but it's a long cooldown. It is pretty value, like that range Dragon Tail and just range right clicks. Even the... Do you slow at level 2? No, it's only at level 3. Okay. Yeah, it's a big ultimate in the sense that it's a long cooldown. How strong it is as an ult, it's not like a black hole, but I do think in fights it will help you get your Dragon Tails off. That's the biggest aspect, I think. And the range right clicks as well, bit of damage.
So yeah, where I was going with it is it's interesting that because the meta slowed down, you see a hero like DK come in nicely in the offlane. I've seen Doom come back. I've seen you'd mentioned Mars, another good hero, and you've seen these other heroes that don't have big ultimates that are constant uptime, quick heroes like Bristleback and Slardar. They used to be big not that long ago, and now they're falling away a little bit, and that must be partly due to this meta being slower. You can get away with these big teamfight ultimate heroes a little bit more now. I think it's kind of interesting. I
definitely agree. I think that's one of the big trends you see in the hero picks. I think a few months ago, when we're in the peak of monkey business, I think if you look at the popular picks, they all have just very low cooldown spells and low cooldown ultimates even. But now, in the last few episodes, every hero that always comes up or is strong, you think about your Quarps, or all the time we've got these heroes that have ultimates, big power spikes that are longer cooldowns, and yeah, like you say, because the fights don't happen as fast and people need to farm a bit more and people aren't as fat as early on, so everything takes a bit longer. So yeah, someone with big ultimates like these DKs on Mars, etc., they can match the pace.
Yeah, they're not too slow anymore.
No.
Sort of thing. Well, I mean, I think that pretty much captures DK. Just time for a flame corner.
There's one big announcement. I don't know if you guys saw.
I think I've just seen the big announcement.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you want to reveal it to me live on air? What's going on?
Cameron Dev from Valve has confirmed that the Battle Pass will be early next week.
Wow. Emergency pod early next week. Smiley face.
That's hype.
Maybe. Okay, so nice. There you go, listeners. Something you already knew by the time this podcast comes out in like a day's time, but there you go. We just found out live on air. Get your wallets ready.
Yes.
Get your furlough schemes ready.
I mean, pandemic. Who has really been spending money?
Yeah,
it's
no one
time
spent
to
anything.
funnel into the Valve pocket.
Yeah, for sure. No, I've just been saving money all pandemic, so yeah, flying some hats, no doubt.
Yeah.
Marco, do you want to send us off with Flame Corner? I know you had. You going to talk about your discussion topics with your favourite? What was it? A Bat Rider?
It was a Pango 3.
Oh, Pango.
So yeah, he kind of captured what I really hate coming across in pubs, and it's specifically on the 3. This Flame, when you've got a 3 on your team that, in my opinion, doesn't play the role they're meant to play. We've had it in party games as well, and I think we've had it with a Pango in the party game. You might remember the game. But basically, if I think about a 3, and I'm in a game, and I'm playing 1, and I'm farming, and I'm going to carry us if we go late enough and I get fat enough, what does my 3 need to do? I think they need to make space, and I think they need to delay the game and provide protection and get stuck in with all that farm they've been left to get in the early game and the early mid game. And it was in this game and the one we played ages ago, the Pango just AFK. Just after the game, and when we're losing, I'm like, Pango, I think you were AFK too much and this is why we lost. He was throwing some stupid arguments back, but it's honestly such a pet peeve when you've got a 3 who's tanky, got gold, but thinks they're a hard 1. And it's not.
Yeah.
And the delusional. There are 3 with gold, with spells that do work, items that do work. they refuse to get involved, and we just lose because the rest of the team gets rolled over. I think of so many games. Another one's come to mind. We had a 3 Void Spirit in a party game who was really fat, and I was PA, and I'm like, mate, why are you hard farming? You've just got like an Ags, and you're still farming neutrals. You've got to get stuff done. In this Pango game, he had gold. We were getting run over. The enemy team were running us over, and he was just AFK on the other side of the map. And I messaged him like, stop being AFK. You're the 3. You roll it to make space. You've got gold and levels. Do something.
Yeah. Just to add on, it's especially triggering when it's a Pango, because I've had so many games where my Pango 3 literally skills his ult at 6 and then doesn't use it until like 20 minutes into the game. Because he's like because he's like farming creeps and stuff with Q, like, oh, I got an early Maelstrom, like, oh, something like that. It's like, this spell is so insane, this Pango ult. It does so much work. And they just, cast spells win games. How many times do you have to say it?
Yeah.
So it's particularly annoying with a Pango, because it's like, you want to be using this spell off cooldown. It's that good.
I remember being Void, and he was playing with you two, and we had a Pango. I remember the Pango would follow me, and I'm Void, to the places I wanted to farm, and we just nuke it. And then he would go to the neutrals, and like nuke it, and then leave. And I was this Void, really struggling to farm, and I'm just looking around thinking, what am I playing? Am I the 3 now? I'm confused. Yeah. And so often, I feel like Dynamic does this. He's a farmed 3, but I feel like a lot of 3s do it. They get farm, and then they think they're the one. And they got all this gold, and they're loving hitting creep so much, and maybe the chemicals are just like overriding the brain, and they're just like, yes, more gold, more creeps. And they just pretend they're a hard one. And then the real hard one, the Void or the PA or the Anti-Mage is like, mate, please make me space so I can farm and then carry the late game. Dota is like, we understand the game quite well these days. Some heroes are better with gold and can do more with gold. Help me get there and we can win. But no, the offlaner insists they need that extra wave. And the enemy team are invading our woods, and our 3 Pango shit ton of gold is just dilly-daddling opposite side of the map. Doesn't want to rotate. Honestly, so painful.
You get ganked for the 3rd time playing Faceless Void 1 in the safe lane. You look over at Pango, he's got TP and ult just off cooldown. He's farming neutrals. Everyone knows that feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you go.
Don't be that 3 that doesn't make stuff happen and doesn't do work. Often 3s get it easy, because often the 1 gets a lot of attention because the enemy team's like, shit on the carry. Often there will be games the 3 gets a crap ton of space and they get a lot of gold and XP. In the good games, they then use it to make space and do stuff. In the bad games, where they get reported, is when they keep farming.
And you're not even sacrificing your own game. Like on a Pango, you're going to get kills, right? Because you already farmed Pango. You're not even sacrificing your own game. It's just like, if you're a position 3, you're better farming heroes than your position 1ers. That's just how the heroes work, if you've got a Naga, you're going to get farmed hitting creeps, not hitting heroes for the first 25 minutes,
Yeah.
Whereas a Pango is going to get more done hitting heroes and letting the Naga farm creep. I mean, it's basically just reiterating your point, So, episode 90 of New Meta. Join us again next week for Battle Pass review. Very, very exciting. We'll have to see what day we pod next week. I don't know what's going on, because I've just heard about this announcement now. Maybe emergency pod, maybe not. we'll see. But anyway, until Ep 21, final whistle as always. See you again soon.